All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another live stream here. Let's see here. We got 2 people in here, so not crazy packed. 3, all right, getting on there. Sorry, guys, I was talking to Josh about some stuff. I haven't gotten to talk to him much today. Jackson, how you doing, man? So super excited. We officially know what happened to the white 6.0 Powerstroke on that, well, was always on the channel, now hasn't been. Had some cameos here and there. But we do know officially what happened to that. We're going to get into that a little bit tonight. And we're definitely going to discuss actual plans for the truck. Unfortunately, what had happened is worse than I anticipated. Jeff, what's up, man? How you doing? So definitely it was worse than we anticipated. Guys, random, we got 6 people in here. I don't know why 2 people left. But we had 6 people in here and only 3 likes. So let's fix that. Let's get up to 3. Let's get up to 4 likes. Ugh. Anyway, guys, so the white Powerstroke that was on the channel here, the cab's been lifted. The driver's side head was pulled. You think about bulletproofing your 6.0. That's an excellent topic. Kind of ties in well to this. What specifically, Jeff, are you looking to do to your 6.0? And I can definitely help kind of pick a few things out for you. While you're coming up with that, we're going to talk about what had happened. And we went to place our order with Kill Devil Diesel earlier or late last week. I guess I'm officially into next week. And because of what failed and how it failed on our white truck, we're kind of waiting to hear back from Kill Devil Diesel about what our game plan is. What's up, April? April, you better like this video. So what we're looking at doing is we went to place a build in a box order. Basically cut a month off the wait time. Greg said he could put that together in about 2-3 work days. So we were looking at getting the build in the box for the white truck. He'll put it together, which the build in the box from Kill Devil Diesel is really cool. Basically, you get everything machined and set, balanced, marked which connecting rod and piston goes where. Excuse me. And you put it together. I can't put it together. I don't have the tools or the time for that. But someone like Greg or another qualified mechanic can definitely do it. Greg will be doing that job for us. But so the build in the box for our white truck is probably what we will end up doing. But what had happened to it is a valve won't shut on our on the cylinder head. That's what actually lost compression. The valve was hung open. So I was actually really shocked to see that until Greg pointed out that actually what had been happening on that whole side is the valves were hitting the piston. So there's like grooves in each piston from the valves opening on them. So that sucks. Definitely not something you want, but it's amazing it ran for so long like that. And I mean, I guess if they're hitting perfectly flat, it's not that bad, but eventually one didn't hit quite right and it bent the valve. And here's where we are waiting to hear from Kill Devil Diesel, because I did call them. In my experience, he's always been good about hey, crap happens. This obviously very expensive crap happens. And in my experience, Jared's been good about trying to fix stuff. So I did kind of reach out to them, told them what happened. I didn't do a good job of explaining, because what happened when that valve bent is it actually started hitting the engine block. So the engine block has a good chunk missing. I didn't take a good picture. Greg might have pictures. And once I'm done talking with Kill Devil, we'll actually like post some of that stuff. But I don't want any of this to turn into a Kill Devil hating session or anything, because I told them no matter what, I'm still buying from them. I still think they're one of the best options out there. It's a very unfortunate mistake for me, but like I said, crap does happen. So we're still buying from Kill Devil Diesel. I still support that company, because when they thought it was just in the cylinder head, they said, hey, send them down to us. We'll fix them. We'll make this right. And then when I had Greg call, and Greg again reiterated everything, that it was actually scraping away at the block and that cylinder is now ruined. And they said that person, the receptionist, is going to talk. I think her name's Julie. Super, very polite, very kind. through the whole process. She's going to talk to Jared, the owner of Kill Devil, and they are going to contact us and let us know what our game plan is moving forward. Like I said, regardless what they say, I am going to still buy from them, but they're looking into what they're going to do about this whole situation. So it does kind of stink. It's unfortunate because it's expensive, but we'll see what happens. Okay, now I know I've kind of skipped some stuff here. I'm going KC Turbo 10 blade. Yes, it's Josh, guys. Hello? For YouTube? I think that's it, but I honestly have no idea. If you send it to prompt to my phone, like to verify through that, I'll just verify you. Like you should be able to do it through email. Guys, Josh is going to be getting on. And so we got 10 people in here, only 7 likes. So if we can fix that, let's get a couple more likes up there on the board. Did you send it to verify through email? I don't know what the password is though to it, which is really bad because I thought it was that password. Did you put the H in? No, the Gmail account has an H. Six period 0 H BROS. Let me know if that works. I'm gonna let you go. Yep, I got it. I'm confirming it. You should be good. All right, bye. Okay, so Josh is going to be joining in here, guys. Sorry, little mishap there. So Jeff, you're going with the KC Turbo 10 blade. Which one? Because they offer the 10 blade on a few different models. 5-inch exhaust. With the 5-inch exhaust, the one thing I'll say is I do recommend for most people to do a 3.5-inch downpipe. To either I like the sound of a 4-inch, but 5-inch sound good too. They lose a little whistle in that, and pick up a little more of that like old school V8 rumble with the 5-inch. So it just kind of depends what sound you like to hear. Bulletproof oil cooler, EGR cooler, and BRP up pipes and blue springs to start. So let's talk turbos for a second. KC Turbo, excellent company. I would say for most people, their stage 1.5 and then add the 10 blade is probably the sweet spot for most people, especially if you don't plan to do big injectors down. Especially if you don't plan to mess with injectors down the road or you just want a nice daily driver. That turbo will run great with factory injectors, but can also probably support, I would say, up to like a 190/30. Now, that would be pushing it pretty hard, but it can take it. The other thing with turbos, I'll say check out our turbo sponsor, Turbo Time USA. Use code 6OBROS down in the description. I'll type it here in the comment section. For 5% off their turbos, and I'd recommend their stage 2. It's got a 64 millimeter compressor wheel, comes with the 10 blade. And again, it'll run great in that same band, but again, KC is awesome. So nothing wrong with running them. Just I want to give a shout out to my sponsor that supports the channel. We talked about exhaust. Bulletproof. I'm a fan of the OEM oil cooler personally, but the bulletproof stuff is nice. I just prefer the OEM one. I think it works fine. Their EGR cooler, solid. MBRP up pipes, I would scrap that and go with BD Diesel up pipes. I think they're awesome. I think they're better. And the fitment on the BD ones is nicer. A lot of people complain about the fitment of the MBRP up pipes. Compound 6.7, yes, it did drop a valve essentially. It does suck. It just sucks. But like I said, we're in the midst of trying to sort that all out. So hopefully, my goal is this week to give an update video on that. I have a video I need to make. Well, I shot it. I just need to edit and upload it. Talking about selling the 6.7, what I'm driving now, plans for the next little bit while we get the new the weight on the 6.0. So we'll see how that all goes. I have alarm going off in my truck with no lights coming on at all. That I have HVAC and electrical, excuse me. That's a hard one. I don't know, to be honest. Will it turn off at all? I would say my guess would be either your remote is stuck or maybe the module for the alarm itself, if it's not like a fuse or something, but I don't know a ton about those. Daniel, I agree. The Kill Devil Diesel Stage 2 is crazy, especially right now. Holy crap, did the prices jump on those? I think the Stage 2 is like 11 or 12 grand. That's insane. I don't think you get a lot extra with the Stage 2 from Kill. Like, I like Kill Devil Diesel. I'm a fan. But I don't think you get a whole lot extra with their Stage 2 as opposed to their Stage 1. Like, I think it was a different cam. I don't know. When I was looking at them, I didn't love the Stage 2. I think for most people, a Stage 1 with an upgraded cam is probably where you're at. I like the Stage 2 cams. I think they're awesome. They don't require valve relief, although I thought that, and look what happened to mine. But I guess stuff has just gone up. It's currently just the area we're in right now. It kind of sucks. Hopefully in the near future, it chills out. I have a 4-inch downpipe and a 4-inch for the rest of the exhaust. I love it. But for a lot of people, the 3.5-inch downpipe to a 4-inch, for practical applications, daily use, towing, stuff like that, is actually going to drive a little nicer because you don't lose so much down low, and you still pick some up top. But I have no intention of changing that on my truck. Josh's 6.0 runs a 4-inch downpipe and 4-inch out the back. Eli, what's up, man? Mike, probably not the 4-hour. Should I make a cup of coffee? Probably not the 4-hour one tonight. Unfortunately, I still have a boatload of schoolwork to do, so I'm probably going to duck out a little early on this one. Definitely in for an hour, and depending on how busy we are at the hour mark, we might keep pushing it. If you guys are still here and interacting and having fun, we'll go a little longer than that. But this will not be the 4-hour one. So I did just start a new job, and I'm very excited about that. And hopefully part of what that allows me to do is stay more on top of my schoolwork, still fit in the gym and everything and my goals with that. And at the same time, allow me to get back into doing more consistent uploads. I was working a lot there, 56 to 64-hour weeks, plus school on top of it, and trying to fit the gym, and it was crazy. But hopefully with this new job, I'll have more time to get back into this. As soon as I get back into regular live streams, we are going to do, I have another confirmation for Josh. So hopefully here, what happens is this should allow me to give more time to still, doing my job, keeping on top of schoolwork. I just got accepted into clinical, so I'm very excited about that. Clinical starts in August. I'm taking a math class this summer, but you guys don't care about that. Sorry. Hopefully the new job, though, allows me to be more active again on YouTube like I was. That is my goal. So while I still have to maintain my priority of making sure I'm getting school done at the same time. HVAC, was it the alarm question? Because I don't know much about that, and I probably am not a big help. What was the name of the up pipes again? Jeff, let me get you a link. They're from BD Diesel. I've run them on my truck. I think they are just awesome, and you can't beat them, in my opinion. stuff has come increasingly harder to find because of the EPA on Amazon. So people have taken certain products down or changed the name to them. So they are a little harder to find. But I'm going to keep working on that. I should have my second little, I have a mini monitor that I normally have set up. I had to take it down because for tests online, I wasn't allowed to. There's Josh just killing it. HVAC, I'm sorry, man. I'm not a ton of help with that because I don't know what to do with that one, with the alarm system. I'm not familiar with them enough to be able to help with that. Ethan, you're good. You're good. We got plenty of live stream left. Your Mongoose, your 6.0 stalls when you have a hard and sudden stop. Did you check? I would verify fuel pressure, make sure your fuel pressure isn't dropping. Like the pickup straw in the tank might be a little low, and maybe as you're stopping and all the fluid shift, the fuel shifts forward, might not be picked up by the pickup tube. Or same thing could go with oil. So I would check to make sure you have enough oil in there. So nothing in that pickup's going to break. That's all metal. And I don't think that'll rust since it's all well lubricated, sitting literally in oil. Nick, so what happened to the white truck is a valve. So the valves were hitting the pistons since it's been back together. So valve recession clearly wasn't set quite right, especially at the cam. So I did buy the cam, push rods, lifters, and heads all from Kill Devil Diesel. And currently we're talking, they found out Friday what had happened because the bent valve, besides on the whole driver's side hitting each piston, that bent valve also then ruined the block. So they are talking, we just sent that, Greg and I just sent that information to them on Friday. So this coming week, I should hear from Kill Devil on what we are doing moving forward. Hopefully they're willing to help out a little bit. That's kind of my goal. But if it doesn't happen, we're going to do a build in the box from them. Basically a stage 1, but we're changing the cam to a stage 2 cam like I had before. Let's see here. I finally got a 6.7 compound 6.7. Nice. I love the 6.7. I do kind of miss mine. That interior is so nice in that truck. But we will have one in the future, just not at the moment. Yeah, Ethan, I'm really excited about the new build. Excited to see, like, I won't have official details for everything till like I said, I talked to Kill Devil Diesel because depending on what they're willing to do, I might choose to upgrade some stuff if it's in my budget. But if they're not, then there'll be no upgrades. It'll be a stage 1 with the stage 2 cam, and that'll be that, which is fine. It's still a nice truck, and will still run really well. But we'll see, and I'll be releasing an official video on what we're doing in the future. No leak, ICP, and voltage is good. Fan clutch is spinning super slow and not engaging in high temps. Switched it out and does the same thing. Are you running aftermarket tuning on it? And are you reading what it's actually? I would check all the connectors or all the wires. Make sure none of your wires aren't like not completely hooked up right. You could also try doing the blue wire mod to see if you can engage it manually. If you tap into the blue wire and hook it up to a switch, there's a bunch of write-ups all over the place on it. You can engage it. You can command it to full lockup, which it'll spin as fast as it can. I'm gonna say I never really noticed anything. Did you go with an OEM fan clutch? Or did you get an aftermarket one? If you got an aftermarket one, what brand did you go with? I have no issues Paying to play, but I'm in Canada, so stage 2 killed over shipping. Oof. Ouch, man, Daniel. That is salty. You'd be better off driving down to Kill Devil Diesel to pick it up, probably. Dirty filters, weak pump. Is fuel pressure good? All excellent questions. Guys, the easy solution is come to the land of the free. We're pretty great here in America, even if I'm sure Canada has lots of jokes about us. Should I do the 7.3 fan clutch? Also, have you messed around with changing over to F4? Okay, so 7.3 fan clutch, I think is dumb. And actually, the more people tend to run them, I've noticed a lot of people are now switching back. I have no issues with my fan clutch engaging. I mean, I did go through one fan clutch at about 200,000 miles. I turned around and replaced it. I went with just another factory fan clutch. It works fine. If you need to command it full, like if you need more cooling, excuse me, turn around, wire up, do the blue wire mod, which you just tap into the blue wire on the connector for your fan clutch, and you run it into the cab, hook it up to a switch, and you can command it to the full capacity, to full lockup, I guess is the appropriate way to turn it. I think the 7.3 fan clutch is kind of dumb overall. I've been pretty consistent on that topic. I think it's a cool idea, and I know some guys that love it. Nick, you're not dumb. I assume you have the 7.3 fan clutch. I just think it's unnecessary. I think Bulletproof Diesel developed a solution to a problem that wasn't really a problem. Tuning can engage it better. Like I said, you can just hook a switch up. I think that should be their upgrade to it. A lot of people are saying they're getting worse fuel economy with the 7.3 fan clutch. They're also saying it engages too early for their truck and their needs. Maybe if you're towing really heavy all the time, it's not as bad, but I'm not a diehard fan of it personally. Now these Jeff, I would do the blue wire mod, man. I think you'll be happy, and you're going to spend less money. Now this F550 brake thing, I've never heard of. I will say this: it sounds expensive. I think you'd be better served by upgrading your brakes. I'll say this: I have an 04, so 04 had smaller brakes than 05 in later years. I tow about 13,000 pounds, and I've never had an issue stopping in my tow tune, which does use I don't even use the turbo to help slow me down, just the transmission braking feature. So that's like a total weight of like 21,000 pounds or something like that, and I've never had an issue. But you could also turn around and you could do like SSBC has brake kits that use the factory size rotor, but they're an upgraded caliper that uses 6 pistons instead of the 2. They're 6 smaller pistons, but they have more clamping force than the 2 larger ones that are factory. So if you're looking for an upgrade there, that would be the route I'd recommend. You're still talking, I think it's like $1,100-$1,200 for the fronts to be done. So you're still talking a good chunk of change. You could also go Willwood, but then you're talking like $2,500. You're going to need to have at least 20-inch wheels. You're going to need to use their proprietary pads and rotors, as opposed to being able to keep factory rotors on with the SSBC. I do run Power Stop brakes and rotors and love them. I think they're a great upgrade. I definitely feel like they stop better and handle. I get their tow package ones, and I feel like they handle the demand of higher heat when you really need your brakes. I think they handle that a little better. So those would be my recommendations. And in the brake videos I have links to Power Stop in there. Let's see here. Upfitter switches. Yeah, that's a clean look if you do the upfitter switches. Have you ever heard of a product called RevX oil additive? Cheers from Canada. Wolfgang, I have heard of RevX. I've heard it works, but I hear it takes a while to like 500 miles to work. I personally recommend Arch Oil. I have a whole video talking about Arch Oil and that I think it's really good. But I think those are probably the two top products to use, and I hear those are the ones I consistently hear good reviews about. So I would recommend either or. I like Arch Oil. I haven't personally used RevX before, but I have heard good things about it. Yeah, OJ, the power stop stuff isn't cheap if you do all four corners, especially if you get their brake calipers with them, which are just reman factory ones. So I don't recommend that. Yeah, you are talking like $800-900 last time I checked. So why I sold the six? Guess who found emojis? Why did I sell the 6.7 Powerstroke? So I sold the 6.7 Powerstroke for a couple reasons. One of them really was, and I do talk about this more in a video coming out. One's this truck market's kind of crazy. I never really loved that truck as much, probably because it was such a headache in the beginning. I did eventually make it pretty decent, and I did like it. I did grow to like it, but I put about 30,000 miles on it and sold it for what I bought it for. $500 less. I paid $500 less than I bought it for. So in the end, I just felt like right now with how everything is, it was a good time to get rid of it, get rid of that payment. I did just start. I'm in school for my RN. I did just get approved for clinical, so I was just looking at everything, and at this time, it was the right choice to make. I do plan to get another one in the future. I'm not sure when that'll be. My goal is when YouTube is consistently successful enough to pay for it, pretty much probably will be when I look at getting back in. And this truck market needs to calm down. This truck market is out of control. Like, I can't believe I put 30,000 miles on that truck and sold it pretty much for what I paid for it. Now, sure, it had some upgrades. It was in much better shape. The brakes weren't garbage. The suspension was all redone, new shocks, deleted. But yeah, that's why I got rid of it. And like I said, we'll get another one. I think I'd like to get into it like when I'm ready. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know when that'll be. It's going to really be dependent upon when YouTube is successful enough to kind of pay for it. But I think I'd like to probably get into like the 19s, the Alumiduties. I don't want to get into a 20 mainly because that they went to a smaller turbo. Tuning's more challenging. The aftermarket really hasn't caught up to that. Whereas on a 19, the aftermarket support is all there and I can do whatever I want. The other thing is it does make it easier to get the 6.0 back when I sold it. So that's all kind of where I'm at right now at this moment. Josh not providing any quality content to the channel down there, I see. Where was I? Also getting SPD and M. I did. Maryland Diesel Performance has tuning for the 6.0. I didn't know that. When the 6.0 is back, we'll put them on the list of people to review. First person I'm going to review is Blessed Performance. He is a sponsor. At least I could do his review his 6.0 tunes. I did. I guess I can't really talk about that. I guess that's kind of secret. I do know some about his tuning and stuff, and I do recommend it. But what I was going to say, I can't really say because EPA is evil. So. Oh, that's right. The link to the Y pipe. I'm gonna find it right now. I really need to hook that second monitor up, and that way I can kind of look. I guess I can. I'm just going to my video that I have the link in. I also need to get you guys. There is a Teespring's offering like a 10% off sale. And for merch, so I need to get that to you guys as well, what that password is. Okay, here is a link to, that is an affiliate link for the BD Diesel Y pipe. They're my favorite ones. I think they're the best on the market. I haven't seen any other ones that I like at all. Or I shouldn't say that I don't like, that I like as much as the BD Diesel ones. Nick. Hey Mike, thanks man. That's crazy. You were the seventh subscriber to the channel. I mean, we're going back such a long time. I can't even 3.5 years. I guess we're coming up on 4 years. All right, who mentioned Sinister in my live stream? I see Sinister being referenced. Jeff, don't do it. All right, Jeff's the culprit. I'm not ready to talk about why Sinister upsets me, but I will in a minute. All my moderators tend to be the ones that bring up Sinister the most. I noticed that. But Mike, thank you, man. That really means a lot. Thank you for hanging on for this time from 7 subscribers to where we're at now. I'm very excited. It's been fun. I wish I was more. I have periods where I'm super consistent, and sometimes just outside life gets in the way. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button already, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. Let's get some links here to let's figure out the Teespring thing. I forget what the heck that sale was. I mean, I know I have the link down there, but they were running a special code for 10% off, and I forget what the heck it is. But I want to get it to you guys so you guys can have 10% off if you want it. If you want to buy merch. What am I got? I got just the 6.0 Bros written out logo, and this is the one that has making 6.0s great again on the back. This is actually probably the top seller, followed by the turbo with 6.0 Bros across, or that have the turbo as a 6. Is everyone? Izzy's here. She's hanging out. Right, pup? Being super distracting. But anyway, let me email. So we'll get this for you guys, I think. If I can find it. I don't want to spend too much time looking for this when I should be talking with all of you guys. I really can't find it. Did I accidentally delete it? Let me check my trash quick. And here in a second, I'm just gonna have to give up. I'm sorry, guys, I can't find that right now. +1 on arch oil. I can still get delete kits easy up the Great White North. Yeah, no, that's one thing you guys have up in Canada is you don't have the EPA being goofy about tuning and stuff. So rock on to you guys, lucky. Ethan, the link to Teespring's in there, but trying to find the discount code they were offering is hard. Do you still review gun products, or is YouTube silent? Josh, please don't try to get me in trouble with YouTube. I'm not trying to get in trouble with YouTube. Nonsense. That Sinister Diesel intercooler is going to be like the bane of my existence. I almost feel like one day I need to, when the 6.0 is back, I think I'm going to call them and I'm going to ask them if they'll send it to me. I refuse to pay that money for that intercooler because I think that's garbage. But if I can convince them to send it to me, I'll do a sponsored video on it, and I'll review it compared to the CSF 6028 that I run in the truck. I'd like to try a few other, just another Sinister Diesel representative. That's funny. I would review it, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna do it and pay for that product because that's crazy. I'd rather buy other stuff. I refuse to buy, even if they sent me that intake elbow, I wouldn't review it. Me do a video of me throwing it somewhere. I think if you start becoming a bit more verbal about the RPM Act, you may be able to broaden your subscription base. Mike, that's a good point. And I've tried, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I've actually had a couple story posts that I've put up there. Fast Fuel had released some stories about it. So I do try to be a little active about it. I probably should do another EPA video, maybe do a live stream and look up some stuff. The RPM Act, guys, we need the RPM Act to pass. I do agree with you, Mike. I would like to, I would like to do more videos like that and talk more about like current topics. And maybe while we wait for, sorry, I have like something playing in the background here. What is this? Oh, it's one of my videos. It was one of my videos I pulled up to find the link for the Y pipe. But Mike, no, maybe after I post the next video talking about selling the truck, what I'm driving, loose update on the 6.0, while I wait to make the official update on the 6.0 and what the official game plan is here. Hopefully I get to film that video this coming week though. Maybe what we do is we turn around and we do another live stream, or maybe I'll film a video and do a live stream, something like that, where we talk about the RPM Act and the EPA. And if you guys care about my opinions on that, I'll talk about them here or on that live stream, whenever. But no, it's a big topic and we need to support the RPM Act, so write your representatives. I need to start getting more links out there more frequently. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go check that out because I do tend to post that sort of thing more frequently over there. Sorry, just joined this video. Would you recommend a 6.0? First time, I just recently graduated from local college as an automotive technician, but don't have any diesel experience. Matthew, I do. If you're, people think diesels are like drastically different than gas counterparts, and there are definitely some differences, but overall, man, it's all turning nuts and bolts. It's understanding how the 6.0 works, the high pressure oil system. Like, think about the high pressure oil system on a 6.0 kind of like a CP4 pump on the more modern diesels, and that's really what trips a lot of people up for no start issues, and the IPR ICP sensors that correlate with all that. I should do a video. I'm going to write this down. I actually have a piece of notepaper beside the computer tonight about ideas. Maybe a video on understanding the 6.0. But if you're mechanically inclined, yeah, I don't think a 6.0 is a bad truck to own. I love them. It's what I started learning too. Now, I will say this, be prepared, as there's a decent chance that at some point you're going to need to do head studs on it if you don't buy one that had a quality head stud job done before, and that's expensive. So I would talk to some shops and get some rough quotes to make sure that if that happens to you, that you're prepared to spend that kind of money. And if you had one that was poorly maintained, then that sucks, because then you got to turn around and do it. Or then you got to turn around and fix a bunch of stuff that wasn't maintained. Jeff, you're forgiven for the Sinister Diesel fiasco. I disagree with this. Avoid the 03, 04 trucks, because honestly, all 6.0s are going to have some issues, and they're slightly different. So 03, early 04 trucks tend to not leak oil or have high pressure oil leaks. They do have a habit of blowing out a pump at about 180,000 miles. That sucks. But you replace pump, good to go. Getting to the ICP sensor isn't that hateful. I have a video on that. But if you look at my video for best year 6.0 Powerstroke, that really talks about all the differences between the years, or at least the big ones you want to keep an eye on. There's some smaller ones I don't talk about, like pushrod length, cam profile. The 03 engines had a more aggressive cam profile than late 04 through end of production. But at the end of the day, they all have a few nuances. It's just understanding what your year has that are issues and going from there. That intercooler on my radar, that 6.0 bros ran in 04. Daniel, are you talking about the CSF 6028? Because that's still in the white truck. The Sinister Diesel intercooler, stupid overpriced. It's like $1,700 or some nonsense. It still upsets me every time I think about it. Very upset about this, guys. Jeff, I disagree in the sense of you don't have to necessarily stud right away. I bought my 6.0. Let's see here. I bought my 6.0 for with 76,000 miles on it, and I ran it to about 180. I figure it's not 100% accurate because I ran larger tires for most of that. And so the odometer read like 170 something, but it was definitely over 180,000 miles. So ran over 100,000 miles, and that whole time was pretty much tuned. Ethan, that's great. $2,700. Sinister Diesel ought to be ashamed of themselves for that intercooler. It upsets me. But yeah, so I never blew gaskets. The cylinder head cracked, which is actually a 6.0 problem. It does happen. It's a crappy time, but it's so upsetting. There's some jerry rig fixes for it. I don't really like any of them. But if you're on a really, really tight budget and a cylinder head cracks, Bulletproof Diesel does have this piece you have to change part of the injector, I think, and then you put a different injector cup in. All just craziness. I'd get a Technicooler before. I would too. Actually, I don't think the value of the Banks intercooler is actually bad. I think it's like $1,100-$1,200. You get intercooler pipes with it. I think it's a nice setup personally, but I don't necessarily love the huge intercooler pipes that come with it. I run a MBRP on the hot side and a No Limit Fab on the cold side, and love them. They're awesome. Whew, we were doing a lot of talking, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're new, definitely subscribe, guys. But man, $2,700 for that is, I think that is just ridiculous. I'm still trying to find this special promotion thing they have going on right now, but I cannot. Pricing discount? Nope, that's not it. Check one more place here for this darn. Guys, I can't find theirs, but I do still have my free shipping code up, 6.0 bros. On Teespring will get you. I hate the Mishi pipes. All right, let me phrase that. The cold side is pretty generic. Like 99% of the pipes, cold side pipes out there, because there's only so much you can do in such a short amount of space. But the fitment on their hot side, not loving. And their clamps leave a little bit to be desired too. Their boots are awesome. I will say that. Their intercooler boots from Mishi are killer. I'd get a 5.9 manual, but pre-common rail. But it depends on what. Ugh, the 5.9. If I got a 5.9, I definitely get a common rail 5.9 because they can be monsters. And here's, I hate Cummins. Their transmissions are just garbage. The engine really isn't that bad. I do hate the sound it makes. I think it's the most obnoxious sounding diesel out there. I hate that. If you guys could quiet that thing down, I might like it a little more. And if Cummins or Dodge, Ram, whatever they want to be called now, if they could put a quality transmission, it wouldn't be that bad. I run a 4-door intercooler, temps never over 200 last time, which I said only do. So here's the issue. Here's my issue with the Ford OEM intercooler. And when it does burst, I think it's goofy not to upgrade because you can get some nice, like the Amazon, let's see here, CSF, I think it's 60, is it 13? Yep, here we go. This intercooler is less than $300 and it's all metal. I'm going to put a link down there now for it. This is what most people, this is an affiliate link if anybody does click on this. That is going to suit most people's needs for a 6.0, and it's less than $300. It is all metal, so you're not going to blow out end caps. I know more than a few people that have had end caps on the factory intercoolers blow. The 6028 is what I run. It's much thicker. I have a video on that, and I put them side by side, or at least very close to each other, and show you how much bigger the 6028 is. But I also knew I was going to be pushing the envelope. I love the 6028. It's killer. But for most people, that 6013 for less than $300 is going to work great. There's a lot of other, like, intercoolers for the 6.0 have gotten much more. There's a ton of them out there. Like, let's just type in 6.0 Powerstroke intercoolers on Amazon. And there's a bunch of them. The Mishi, I don't know. I wouldn't spend $1,000 on it personally. JSD, I've heard good stuff about. I've sent a bunch of them to people. I know a few people running them with good luck. We'll get a link to these guys. Just in case you guys want to actually look at these are all affiliate links, though. Just fair warning. Now, I will say this one is like a 1/4 inch thicker, I think, than the factory one. Is it worth $40 more, $45 more? I don't know. I probably would spend the $45 and get the slightly larger one, but you're probably, being completely honest, you're probably not going to see a difference. And that was literally just looking for 2 seconds. Typing it, between those two, those are great factory replacements, and they're going to do great for most people running a 6.0. If I will say, if you want to go larger injector, I do think then the 6028 is a better choice. Or at the bare minimum, then I do think that $45 is worth it for the little bit of added cooling capacity. See if I can find a 6028 on Amazon. I don't know that I will. At least I've never been successful at finding one. Here's a ZM intercooler for $318. Again, all metal construction. I don't know how big this one is. I'm not as familiar with it, though I have seen it. Again, just trying to find CSF 6028. There is also another one that's kind of like middle ground. I really wish the 6028 would pop up on here. It does not. What's this one for 400? Let me quick check this one. It doesn't necessarily look thicker than factory, though. And if it's not bigger than the other guys, then it's definitely not worth it. What is Yeah? No. I didn't. Guys, Josh called. Apparently, he got. Did one of you moderators block Josh? That would be pretty entertaining. I mean, I don't support it for the record. Josh, you're not threatening the subscribers like that. Uh, did you type too much? Is it an extensive response? I'm not going to send this other one just because I don't know. I don't know if it's actually any better than the other two posted, and it's more expensive. So that that one seems like a little bit of a waste of time. Josh, I am going to let you go, but no, I did not block you. I don't know what he was saying. He's probably going to yell at me for doing that, but I thought he was done. Sorry, Josh. DFC Diesel, I'm not super familiar with them. I do know Blessed Performance does sell them, and he's had a great experience with them. So I think they're good. Based on, I trust him. I believe he has installed more than one. He has said his preference is Kill Devil Diesel, but sometimes with the wait times they get up there. Here's an affiliate link to the Banks one. I think the Banks intercooler is really good. For people, especially people running bigger injectors, bigger turbos, I think then the factory intercooler is not sufficient enough for those setups. But the Banks one's definitely a good solid one to try. Josh, you have access to the channel if you want to upload stuff. Josh, don't even act like you call me up when you have plans or try to plan time to work on your truck. What do you mean you have plans for it this summer? I haven't heard anything. Did I get blocked? Is that what happened? Did someone say they accidentally blocked Josh? Because I mean, I would laugh, but I'm running 190/30 so upgrade intercooler will be in my future. Thanks for the links. No problem, man. Definitely, 190/30s are pretty big injectors. One of my preferred injectors I recommend to people all the time. They have a great proven track record for running clean and still making some good power if you want it. But the amount of fuel you're dumping, I definitely think an intercooler is a good upgrade for you. Is it worth upgrading the Jeff? I don't think so personally. Jared, how's your truck? Sure. Josh, you know how my truck is. Hater. I personally don't think it's worth upgrading the factory bolts unless you start talking that you're running aftermarket pumps, looking at upgrading injectors, running a regulated return from like driven diesel or something like that. I don't think then changing them out is really going to do anything. But again, that's based mainly on a factory setup. I do think when you start getting bigger injectors and stuff that it's worth it. But I think you should just do a regulated return at that point. If you were running really mild, like 175 stocks, then going to the 6.4 bolts might be worth it. But overall, I don't think so. I'd like to talk to you about your truck's extended warranty. It's out. Josh, I'm in to help with all that stuff. Who wants to see Josh and me race to see who can finish a wheel bearing ball joint job faster on the truck? I think that would be kind of funny. A sump, airbags. I'm definitely in to help with all that stuff and film it. I think that would be fun. Those of you guys that don't know this, Josh is who I call when I get stuck on suspension project. Well, if I get stuck on anything, I call. But really where I tend to 100% need him is when I get stuck on dumb suspension crap. That being said, I'm pretty good. Who will I race? Me, Josh. You will race me to see you'll do driver's side, I'll do passenger side. Probably finish before you. Honestly, I think it'd be a funny video regardless. Just to kind of go through both of us trying to see who can get done first. I love my fast unit on my white truck. Obviously, it's been a while since it's ran, but I did really like it. Had no issues with it. My only real complaint is the bigger pumps on the 6.0s are super loud. I hate that part. Jeff, is yours well, if it has U-joints, it's a 4x4. Old timer's wrong. I'll tell you that. At least about the U-joints. The first thing I would check, it is most like EB Brothers back on YouTube together. That's right. So most likely what it is, I would check your tie rod ends first. Check your tie rod ends, check your ball joints. Make sure all those things are good. But most likely, yeah, your steering gearbox is probably shot. I know on my white truck, it is awful. Like there's like a 2-inch, 2 inches of play. Driving straight down a highway is awful in that. Again, something on the list to fix. Blue top or redhead steering, something like that. Redhead or blue top are the two top of the line brands for steering gearboxes. I think you'll be happy with all of them or with either of those two, but I definitely wouldn't go with another Ford unit, although I think they're decent. I don't think they're amazing, and I definitely wouldn't cheap out on some of those other ones because you're going to be needing to do the job again probably soon after. I think Ethan wants it. Ethan, you wanna park a truck right beside it, and the three of us will just race? I went with redhead on both. Yeah, the redhead are definitely great. Blue top, I've heard amazing things about, and I wouldn't mind trying. I think they're a little cheaper, but still are considered to be. The reviews I'm seeing from them are still really positive, really good. So I definitely recommend them. Another merch shout out, guys. 6obro merch down in the description. 6obros for free shipping on your order. So check that out if you're interested. Let's give a shout out to the turbo sponsor, Turbo Time USA, guys. Again, 6obros for 5% off their turbos. Anybody looking for custom tunes for your 6.0, check out Bless Performance. And again, same code 6obros. I'll type it down here for 10% off his custom tunes. So go check those guys out. If they're running well, but customer service sucks if you get an issue. I hope I don't have issues with my fast because that pump was not cheap, and I'll be super irritable about that. Just put a sump in for my fast and fuel dropped by 10 psi. Any ideas? Huh. No. Is your tank okay? Sounds probably kind of dumb, but is your no, because the sump draws right from the bottom. Are you using large enough fuel lines to your fast? And how much did it, and what are you running for PSI? 03 Excursion Bulletproof Diesel Oil Cooler Unit smashes the engine wire harness, causing all sorts of issues. Ask me how I know. Wait. Mongoose, are you saying you don't like the Bulletproof Diesel Oil Cooler Unit? Somebody read Thread Locker a few of Josh's notes before the race with Jared. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll start with like at least both of the tires off, and we'll start from there. So it's just getting to work because we both removing a tire isn't rocket science. It's super easy. But if somebody wants to like red Loctite all of his caliper bolts or something, or the wheel bearing assembly nuts on the back, that would be a good one for you guys to thread locker for me so I can easily win while I do the passenger side. Like, that would be so mean. Mongoose, like I think they're cool systems. I don't overall love them personally. Like I'm a factory oil cooler guy personally, and I think there could be improvements made in that design. Like had somebody made like a larger, like taller oil cooler unit and changed out that top plate. Like, so that cool looking top plate that Bulletproof Diesel has, had they still made something like that, but made it to accommodate a larger oil cooler overall, I think that would be cool. $55 PSI with 190/75 injectors. Boss, are you running a regulated return at all? Because maybe you just need to kind of mess with that a little bit. But excuse me, 55 PSI is perfectly safe and actually for a lot of people preferred on any size injector. So I think you're good there. So if you'd like to see it like, so I know in a lot of the research I've done, a lot of people found that their trucks were making the most power. It dropped to 45. So at 45, I would not be okay because 45 is the minimum for that injector to fill up and be safe. Maybe 45 is the bare minimum to not cause injector damage. So I would definitely be looking at messing with that. Mess with your regulated return. See if you can't get it back up to in the 55 range. Maybe that's all it is. Try purging the system. Maybe you have some air stuck in there would be the other thing I would consider. Jeff, yeah, so the EPA is definitely cracking down on deleted trucks. That's why it's such a big deal that the RPM Act passes to, one, allow tuners. The EPA has gone after and basically shut down a ton of shops. A lot of companies have gone out of business or gotten in crazy trouble with insane fines over delete products as a whole. So like it's become very hard to get your hands on a lot of that stuff now. Now, personally, delete tuning on 6.0s really isn't that big of a deal because it's not like you're gaining a bunch of power from deleting a 6.0. Where it really is an issue is in your 6.4s and 6.7s, that DPF and all that stuff. That's really where like the bigger issue lies. And because you can still make, you can make very similar horsepower in a 6.7 delete versus emissions on, but you're going to see regens much more frequently with those high horsepower tunes on the newer trucks, and that's kind of one of the issues. But the other thing is why I'm such a big proponent of the RPM Act is really because it saves diesel racing sports. And while I'm not able to do yes, Josh, you did miss that, but we'll bring that up in a second after the RPM Act here. For those of you that may have missed the talk about the light truck. But the RPM, like, when one of my goals is when I buy another daily driver and I'm done with my RN is I really want to get back into racing. Not that I was ever crazy into racing, but it's fun. I like it. I'd like to do more of it. Maybe even do like dirt drags, I think would be kind of cool too. So I'd love to eventually get back into some of those other things. Again, it's probably 2 years away, guys, so don't get excited. It's not happening right now. But the RPM Act is a big deal, and hopefully it gets brought up in Congress soon and hopefully passes as well, because it'll allow companies to start selling those tunes again and those delete products again, and allow innovation to happen back in those areas and continue to push the bar. I think a lot of people have gotten away from crappy tuning that just smokes a lot, and I think a lot of people are trying to make good tunes. So I'd like to see that stuff come back, because ultimately that is how we'll continue to advance to make better stuff down the road. Whew. Caffeine just doesn't hit like it used to, that's for sure. Probably because I abuse caffeine way too much. Now, the white truck. Yes, I do need to truck. It's a 6.4. So the white truck, guys, is coming back. Those of you guys that missed it, the cab got pulled, the cylinder head was pulled, and what was found was that it appears that the valve recession was not set spot on with the cam and everything. I did buy the cam, lifters, push rods, and heads all new from Kill Devil Diesel when I did that, but there's a pretty deep imprints of the valves hitting all the pistons on the driver's side. And what had happened is the one valve bent, so it's not shutting the whole way. That's where it lost compression. And when it bent, when it was opening, it was definitely, it was hitting the block itself. So it scraped away a good chunk of the block when it bent. So the block's trashed. It's unfortunate. For as catastrophic of a failure as it turned out to be, there really isn't a ton of damage. It's not like we opened it up and like a piston was just shredded. Like I said, all of them have indentations from valves hitting them for a year and a half, but it held together until that one finally bent. And I'm not sure what caused it to bend, because when it happened, I was actually going to Josh's, and I thought we were meeting at his house before we went somewhere. And as I was driving up, I saw him going the other way. So turning around in his driveway is when it actually happened. So it's not like I was doing something dumb at the moment. I'd be a little more understanding if it happened when I was racing or something like that, or if I was shooting a video for you guys and I was like flooring it. That would make more sense to me. Nope, it happened turning around in his driveway. But anyway, so my plan as of now is to get a build in the box. It'll be about 3 months. There is their current wait time. Now I did reach out to Kill Devil Diesel and say, hey, this is what happened. They talked to Greg as well over at Diesel Automotive. I'm not blaming you, Josh. I'm just saying that's where I was going when it happened. Anyway, so when I was turning around, so we talked to Kill Devil Diesel, and Greg sent them pictures of the damage, and they're, excuse me, when I first talked to them, they thought it was just a cylinder head issue. They wanted the cylinder head sent down to them to fix, but now they realize it's bigger. For the full head of hair, brother. Josh does have a better hairline than me. Receding. Josh's is like to here. It's starting to creep back on him, but, well, he might be the full head of hair brother, but he's also the lower testosterone brother, clearly, because this is clearly male pattern baldness from high testosterone levels. Sorry, Josh. You can keep your full head of hair. I'm going to look great when I'm bald. Anyway, so Kill Devil Diesel is reviewing the photos that were sent over, and they're going to get back to us. And hopefully, I'm hopeful they're willing to kind of help on all this. I will say I'm still going to buy from them regardless what they do, but it's a lion's mane. I am gonna call them, or I am expecting to hear back from them this week. If Greg or myself does not hear back from them, I'm gonna call them. I'm off Thursday, so I'll call them Thursday and find out what is going on with all that, and we'll go from there. So yeah, that's the current game plan for the 6.0. Now I will say this: if they're not willing to help with anything, we're going to do a stage 1 build in a box. but we are upgrading to a stage 2 cam. That is the only change from their stage 1 we're making. Buy a smart car as a backup in the bed. Hammer Down Motorsports. That is freaking hilarious. Just park a smart car and just drive everywhere with it. That would be hilarious. I order parts from all over. Some Amazon. What parts are you looking for? I can get you some affiliate links. Turbos, I recommend buying from Turbo Time USA. Injectors, either Warren Diesel or Blessed Performance has a lot of great stuff. If you're looking for tuning, Blessed Performance code 6OBROS will get you 10% off his custom tunes. Same code for turbos, the performance turbos at Turbo Time USA will get you 5% off their turbos. And if you're looking to buy one of our shirts, that same code will get you free shipping right now from Teespring. Oh, no, the blue paint definitely will keep you reliable for probably at least 10 years, would be my guess. For high pressure oil pump, I would go over to Blessed Performance and see what they have. 2,000 RPMs is definitely a good cruising speed. That's right, Rock Auto. Yeah, Rock Auto. I've bought a ton of stuff from Rock Auto. A lot of times I'm comparing prices between Rock Auto and Amazon on like suspension stuff. So ball joints, wheel bearings, things of that nature. I have a wheel bearing ball joint video series out. It's a 2-part, one taking apart, one going back together. I tried to show as much detail, but that has links to tools. It has links to parts for all the different year Super Duties. Ethan, you have over 500 Rock Auto, Matt. I want to see a picture of that nonsense. I'm a little jealous, I'm not going to lie. Get a pic and send it over to the Instagram account. So what's everyone think of the plan for the build? So here, if Kill Devil Diesel, depending on what they're willing to do for everything, I hope at 500 magnets the fridge is covered. other than, I guess you'd have to have a pretty large fridge if it wasn't. Oh, alternators. That's a good one. So while I'm looking up some alternators here, so depending on what Kill Devil Diesel is willing to do, will kind of depend if the build changes from just a stage 1 with the stage 2 cam. I would like to do more, but I mean, I need to be responsible at the same time, and I can't necessarily just spend a ton of money to upgrade everything. So so I have 2 things to say about an alternator right now. One is if you're going, depending on what you're doing, I do think getting one of these wiring kits here I'm going to send you is basically, this is the big 3. This is an affiliate link as well. Big 3 wire upgrade will help keep that alternator happy, will help keep your batteries happy, and will let you utilize the extra output from the alternator. What the heck did I do? Here it is. Now, let me look at there is a lot of great alternators out there. I use one from Nation's Auto or Alternator and Starters or something like that. And that's been a really good one. I don't recommend the Motorcraft one. There used to be more on Amazon that I used to be able to send links to, but there's not a lot Let's see if throwing an upgrade in there will help. So if you're looking for one on a budget, this one has great reviews and is 180 amp output. But outside of this, there's the alternator. Outside of that, there's some cool, like Extreme Diesel. I've heard stuff that they have one that's gotten good reviews. Is it? Hold on, let me open up another tab. There's DC alternators. They get good reviews. Mean Green is another one I've heard good stuff about. There's one that starts with like an N, and I can't think of the name of it. DC Power was really big for a while. I know that. What's this 200? The other thing I know some people have done is they've actually gone to local shops that make alternators and had custom ones made. I think that's pretty cool and definitely an option as well. Let's see here. Mongoose, does that help? I mean, if you want more, I can definitely get you more solid answers than just that. Oh, what's Bliss Performance have? We'll check their alternators out. See what they have going on. Because they might have the one that I'm thinking of here. 6.0. Charging system. Lease Neville. That's the alternator I was thinking of. Let's see if I can't find these guys on Amazon. I cannot find them on Amazon. Apparently, they don't sell on Amazon anymore. You could go to Not Afraid of Commitment 6.0 owners. Let's see here. I am still planning on redoing the interior and the sound system. So I already have the amp and door speakers for the white truck. I just need to get a wiring kit, and I have the subs, and the subs are already in there with their amp. So basically what I want to do is my seats are in need of, the interior of my 6.0 needs some love. So I want to turn around. Izzy, come here. Is she down here? Come here, Iz. There's Izzy. Who's a go pop? So on the white truck, Izzy, are you camera shy right now? Huh? Huh? Izzy. She is such a good pop. She's not a pup anymore, but she is a good girl. So I want to pull up all the carpet, put sound deadening down, get new carpet with more sound deadening material in it, like that foam stuff. I also want to get all my seats reupholstered or upgrade. So like the driver's seat needs new cushion, needs new leather. So I'd like to do all that. Also put sound deadening stuff on the doors when I replace the speakers in there and wire up the second amp for my door speakers. So there will be a lot. That'll be a big weekend project at some point. I don't know if I'll be able to do it this year. I mean, we'll at least put wires and the amp and the new door speakers in, but all that might have to come back out to put the new carpet and stuff in if it has to wait till next summer. But it will get that at some point. And we're going to do the same thing to the roof as well. We're going to pull the headliner down, put that stuff in there. Yes, I have the PA speaker for the white truck. We're going to put that on there. Mongoose, that is one thing I super miss about my 6.7 is I love the AC seats. I did look at cat skin and I got a rough quote. It's like $4,000, $4 to $5,000 to have the cat skin with the heated and cooled seats in. So that is not a viable option. I might look into seeing if newer style seats will fit because you can get them for like $500 than having my current seats reupholstered. So that might be an option. Or that's at least much more likely of an option than going that route. The only problem is finding gray in the newer stuff is hard. So I might need to go change the carpet to black to make the seats fit, go with black and gray. I feel like that could look cool. With what he was running, he shouldn't have had a problem. Oh, I missed some stuff here. So, Mike, the only thing I can tell you about if they were making contact like there wouldn't really be a way to completely just making sure I didn't miss anything here or trying to catch all this. Sorry guys, you know how it is. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping up in the chat, but there once those heads were on, there isn't really a way to tell if they were making contact or not. Unless I would have put like a borescope with a light in and pulled an injector out prior and checked it. If it was just that cylinder, I could understand saying no, that wasn't the case. But I mean, all four pistons on that bank had four significant indentations in the piston from the valves themselves. And all my tuning does not over rev the engine. It shifts at 4,000. Like it's not like I was running it out to 4,000 RPM. Then I could kind of understand it. So I should not have had that issue at all. I do believe that from the moment they were put on the truck, that was an issue. Truck total build price. I guess I'll need to update this. So when I did the engine the first time, I think I had like 10 in it. I'll have to like go look to give you guys exact numbers. Maybe sometime I'll talk about that. Transmission was around $8,500. 20-ish, we'll say. Jeff, yes, red top is one of the good ones. I would recommend red top or blue or red head steering boxes or blue top. So it's red head or blue top I would look at. If I wanted to make about 500 horsepower out of my truck, could I keep the oil cooler, EGR cooler? Oh, Matt, definitely. Deleting a 6.0 doesn't add huge horsepower capabilities at all. What a lot of people don't understand is the EGR tends to be open during idle. And what that does is it kind of superheats the engine because it pulls that hot exhaust gas in and it'll allow you to warm up better or faster. And like while cruising, when you're in it and you need power, the EGR is typically closed. Josh, I agree. I think it'd be a blast to get to hang out with some of the people that watch the channel. That'd be a lot of fun, especially if they brought beer. Um, so, or Mike, I'm going to answer that in just a second because there was something I just wanted to answer and I lost it or thought about. Okay, so Matthew, to make 500 horsepower, so Josh kills me sometimes in the chat. Like, I swear sometimes he wants to see if we can get the channel in trouble. So Matthew, I'll tell you right now, to make 500, like deleting on, you could make 1,000 horsepower 6.0 and keep that EGR intact because it's not doing anything when you're dynoing it or when you're racing it. So I'm going to say those people are wrong. CV Customs, no, not unless you already have everything torn apart anyway, because it's a lot to change over. You need new rocker boxes. You'll need the new standpipes, dummy plugs, the new oil rail, different crossover tubes, and quite frankly, you're not really gaining anything by changing that over. They've fixed the problems with the early style high pressure oil pump. So I wouldn't do it. I would just buy a new. I would just make sure you have a quality high pressure oil pump. It's not worth it. Making 500 horsepower. This would be my build. For the average person to make 500, I would go with a Turbo Time USA, either their stage 1. I think they might call it a 1.5 now. I forget. If they're 61 millimeter, would spool super quick, support 500 horsepower. I'd probably actually go with their stage 2 though, because I think it'll overall perform a little bit better. That's a 64 millimeter turbo. Injectors, 175 stock nozzle injectors would be perfect. Do a fuel system, and that's really it. You're done. You got it. That's 500 horsepower in a 6.0 is not crazy to make at all. Weaver, no, I'm not buying you a truck. I'm not even driving my own truck right now, so I'm not buying other people's trucks. Mike, for the Suncoast Trans, so I had. So I'm not running a Suncoast torque converter. It's from a Landis Converters, a local shop here. Made my converter, and basically, Warren, so I bought. I guess I did technically buy because I did pay for the transmission. Basically, a Suncoast kit. So all their clutches, their center support, all their billet upgrades are all from Suncoast. And yeah, so and a local shop put it all together here. That's why I was able to do it much cheaper than buying it from Suncoast, because I think they're like all fully upgraded 6.0. Excuse me. I think to buy everything from them, I think it's even more expensive. Like I'm pretty certain it's crazy expensive to buy one of their transmissions. Let's see what their like I said, there isn't an upgrade I don't have in my transmission from Suncoast. Oh, their prices have actually gotten a little bit better. Let's see here. No, we're not doing that. Okay, so for 10 grand would be the equivalent transmission, I think, from what I can tell. See if this has all the billet. Input, rear wheel, overdrive, bill. They have gotten better. Props to them. So 10 grand gets you the equivalent transmission from Suncoast that I have, but then you need to let's see how much their converters are. Oof. Their converters are $2 grand. So, $2,200. So 12.2. Get you the Suncoast version of what I have, even though mine is essentially a Suncoast one, just with a custom transmission made or torque converter made for it. What year and model front end do you think is the best? I like the Harley front ends. So I think the Harley front ends were really cool in the 03, 04 years. Like they had I actually, before I did the Raptor grill, I actually was looking for a Harley grill in that year because they were gloss black and they just kind of looked really cool for those early trucks. I think they look super sharp. But then I did the Raptor grill. I love the Raptor grill. Got a lot of compliments on that. Man, I don't know. So I do personally prefer the '05 through '07 front ends, but I kind of like each of the looks for different reasons. That's a hard one for me because I really enjoy all of them. Truck is an '05. Put a replacement in it. Was an early '05. Guessing it's a late '04. ICP on valve color. Hold on, wait. CV Customs. What? You have an '05 truck. Did you put a new engine in it? Because late '04 runs the new style pump, but if you have an early '04, it runs the early pumps. Oh, Mongoose, were you talking about all of the trucks? Because my current favorite for all year trucks is the new 2020 or the 2020 model year changes. I think are the coolest looking trucks. So CV Custom, what did you replace? Did you replace a whole engine and they put an early style engine in a late style truck or model truck? So CV, if you have everything out, you have an '05. So what you could do is you'll have to remember because some of the sensors are different um, between early years and late years. But you could do your bottom half as an early year, and you'll want to write this down. Am I late to the party? Doom, you're a little late because we've been going for an hour and a half, but we're not done yet because things are going well. So we'll keep going. I am going to have to run to the bathroom in a minute. You'll see me run, but then I'll be back. So you could do the bottom end early, and then you could take the top half stuff off your engine and swap it all over. So you could convert the top half to a late model year. It's a lot of work, especially if you're just looking to swap engines. What's your end goal and why'd you get an engine? While you're typing that out, happy Memorial Day to everybody. I'm all for that. While you're typing that out, I'm going to run to the bathroom because we got at least another 20, maybe even 30 minutes in for this live stream before I roll out. Tonight's the night. All right, we're back. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button. We're only at 31 likes. I imagine there's been more than 31 people that have come through here. So if you haven't, hit the like button. I say we all leave. Goose. We deserve more. Look, I can only hold it for so long, guys. So 04.5 has old pump with all. I was supporting you. Okay, so the 04 model year in high pressure oil systems is a disaster. There's 3 different setups you can see. So the very early 04s had 03 setup. So this just the log style oil rails under the valve covers. Excuse me. And the early style pump. Then partway through that year, they had early style pumps, but they had late style oil rail setups. And then finally, they went over to just all the late style pumps and oil rails. But yeah, so there's 3 different setups in 04. There's like this hybrid mutant of the late and early. If I had to pick, I would probably actually like the late style oil rails with the early style pump. Josh, you were supporting me. I see it. Nick, I would steal those from you. Which I wonder, depending on when I get everything done with the truck, if I could actually make that conversion to the late style oil rails with the early style pump. But it would be a few parts I'd have to buy, which would be kind of annoying. Maybe we can make it happen. I don't know. Your 05 had a lot of metal in the engine. 59 Cummins. I also have a YouTube channel. I found your channel and thought I'd ask. CV Customs. Let's see here. Well, CV Customs, I just subscribed to your channel, man. I definitely, I bought a used 6.0 that said it was an 05. I'm guessing late 04, but ICP on valve, so I figured it would work. Mike, don't you encourage such a thing? So, yeah, that's what really stinks is, so late 04, everything is the later style stuff. Wait, you didn't ask my opinion. So it sounds like you have it sounds like you have one of the weird model year 04 stuff in there. And there's different rocker box configurations, different small differences in the cylinder heads over the years. The branch tubes, so the branch tubes come off of your, yes, Josh, CV. The branch tubes come off of your high pressure oil pump, or at least where they feed to. So, like, if you have an early style pump, there's a J tube that sits on top of it, shaped like a J. And the J tube goes to the branch tubes, which then connect to your standpipes. And if you have the early style stuff or early style oil logs, the standpipes go to a braided line that just dumps into that whole rail. The later style years go from the branch tubes. Well, let me back this up. So late style high pressure oil pumps. The late style high pressure oil pumps go to a snap to connect fitting, which fails. You want to upgrade that. Then to the branch tubes, which goes to the standpipes, and then go to the whole style oil logs. And then there's a dummy plug, which doesn't go anywhere. I don't know why it's there personally, to be honest. Oh, Nick's right. CV, if you look at your, so if you have if you have an ICP sensor on the passenger side valve cover, you have late style oil rails. If you look under the turbo and you can actually visibly see the top of the high pressure oil pump, so like it'll have a cover, but the top is missing, and it ah CV, you can make it all work. So the one thing I would do, you might need a tuner to kind of fine tune that whole setup, but I don't think you need a new PCM or anything. I think everything else should work. I would probably contact a tuner just to see if they had any concerns about it, about the new engine. I don't think they will, but it might need some tuning to run spot on. But I mean, all the sensors should. I think you. I would get a hold of Bless Performance. He's the channel sponsor tuner. I mean, there are other Truck Source Diesel's great. Warren Diesel really knows their stuff as well. Between those three tuners, um, I think you should be one of them should be able to give you a pretty decent answer on if they've done it. Rust into gold, Josh. What are you even talking about? Oh, Mike, nice. There. Mike went from an '03 that had the old stuff, upgraded everything, didn't need any changes. It does sound like a cool project, though, man. Um, dude? What are you talking about? Did I miss something? Hey, Jared, would you like to do an install video on my excursion? Dude, don't you live like super far away from me? Or are you close? Are you one of the guys that's really close? Now that I say that, I feel like you're not that far away from me. Uh, I'd like to drive a KC Turbo. That's right. You're pretty close. Dude, message me on Instagram. Isn't Doom in Florida? No, as soon as I said he was a ways away from me, I'd stopped and thought, no, he's pretty close, if I remember right. Yeah, Doom, hit me up on Instagram. We'll talk. Might be able to help you out with something. Pulling turbos is kind of my it's kind of my thing, unfortunately. I've gotten good at it. Actually, oh man, that last one I just did. That was the worst. Somebody like super tightened the rear bolt. I had like a 4 foot long pry bar I was borrowing with a wrench on this rear bolt, like cranking on it till it finally went loose. And the guy that previously worked on it was there. I was giving him a pretty hard time. I'm like, why did you tighten it this much? How did you tighten it? Like, he couldn't get it loose. I had him helping hold the pry bar while I held the wrench on the bolt. It was, yeah, I wasn't happy. I was a pain in my butt. Uh, but George is pretty far. Doom, I really would like Doom. What KC turbo did you go with? Ethan, I leave the rear. I tend to leave the rear bolt off too, or ever like I'll put it on and I will just like I'll snug it up and then go just like not even an eighth of a turn more. And honestly, a lot of times that bolt will even come out at that with that amount. But yeah, the front two bolts I always run, but that rear one, no way, man. So Doom, which KC turbo did you go with on for your truck? Stage 2. And Doom, what injectors are you running? Those polished turbos do look sharp. They really do. Like, I'm a huge fan of the powder coat. Like, I love the black powder coat on mine. They do like I forget what they call it. They do one that's just like a gray, and it looks kind of like just fat. It looks like nothing, but it looks pretty cool. You can tell a little bit, but it doesn't really pop like that black does on mine or some of the other colors you can get. Please say 190/30s. A 190/30 with the stage 2 would be a pretty sick setup. When I can afford to do it, I do plan to run 205/30s on the white truck. Obviously, that'll be a little bit. It'll probably be a next summer thing. You know, let some revenue build back up so I can afford that. Right now, I'm still running the stock injectors. I'll be up. Oh, perfect. Doom, you're going to love that setup, man. If I've learned anything here, 205/30s is where it's at. Don't get me wrong, 190/30s are good. And I don't have anything against them. It's just that my preference is building a little more over. Oof, it's a Mia. Have a good one, man. We're gonna soon be done here because I have a bunch of schoolwork I need to do still. So, but no, 190/30s are definitely, in my opinion, like the preferred injector. But at the same time, I think that at the same time, I also think that the 190/30s is an excellent injector. You can't go wrong there. So a full bulletproof job. So I kind of hate the term bulletproof because most people just like, I disagree with bulletproof. Bulletproof used to mean you did the bulletproof diesel oil cooler, which I don't recommend. You did their EGR cooler, which if you're running one, I do recommend their EGR cooler. And then you did cylinder heads and studded it. So most people say bulletproof and really just mean a stud job. So you're depending on what all you do, you're probably looking between $5,000 and $6,500 to have a nice job done. I recommend Kill Devil Diesel cylinder heads. Choate Engineering also makes a nice set of cylinder heads. I'd recommend them. Nick, and the water pump. I don't recommend the bulletproof diesel water pump because the factory one has a plastic impeller, and when that breaks, it's not going to destroy your front cover. But with the metal, with the billet metal one that bulletproof diesel sells, when that breaks, it's going to destroy your front cover. That being said, if you're if you just really want that metal impeller on there, Gates makes a metal impeller for the factory one, and they're perfect. So, Doom, you're gonna love 190/30s, man. Oh, with that turbo too, that's gonna be a fun truck. So yeah, I would say about $5,000 to $6,500 depending on overall cost. I would recommend Kill Devil Diesel cylinder heads. I definitely recommend, if you stick with the factory heads, at least having them O-ringed and thoroughly gone through, like rebuilt. Get the valve seat cut out of the factory one, have your valve recession reset, and get pressed in valve seats. The reason I got the sump is because one of my injectors went out from quarter tank issues. I put in the sump right when I was shop, and this PSI dropped. It sounds like, I want to say there's got to be some air in the line or something, because that doesn't make sense to me. That your that you would do a sump and your PSI would drop. That shouldn't have happened. Pros and cons of deleted or aftermarket EGR cooler. Cons of delete is tuning, and if the RPM Act doesn't pass, tuning is going to be a pain in the butt soon. There isn't a ton to gain from it. Like when I did, originally I thought it was the end all be all. It really isn't. I don't think it's a bad idea. If you can get rid of it, get rid of it. If not, though, getting a quality aftermarket EGR cooler is gonna be fine too. Delete. Thanks for. I would want to know what they're doing for $9,500, because basically that's a full, that better be a full rebuild. I mean, you can realize this, you can order a Kill Devil Diesel long block for like $9,800. So what are they doing at $9,500 would be my question. I'm so close to. Dude, when don't you build a race anything? I'm so close to clicking order button on. Ethan, that's a heck of a setup. I gotta say it. Check out Turbo Time USA for their stage 2, or their GXR series would. See, so the KC stage 2 falls in between Turbo Time's stage 2 and their GXR series of turbos. Their stage 2 is a 64 millimeter. KC stage 2 is a 64.7 millimeter, and the GXR series is like a 65.6, I think. Check out Turbo Time though, man. I think you'll love it. And also the affiliate code gets you 5% off their turbo. The only other injector company I recommend, Blessed Performance sells Holder injectors. They get good reputations. And definitely make sure, regardless Warren or Holder, make sure you get their premium injectors. It'll just save you a headache in the long run. Well, boss, I could be wrong about the air, but that's kind of what it sounds like to me, is that it's kind of like, I can't think of what else it would be. If you unscrew the filter and kind of turn the pump on so that it'll push fuel out, would be my first place. I've seen people not, I can't think of what it is. Is it purge the filters so that you push all the air out? And the only way to do it is to actually open them a little bit, turn it on so it pushes the air out, then tighten it up and keep doing that. Ethan, thank you for considering it. I appreciate it. I'm not talking bad about KC, because they do make a killer product. I'm not knocking them at all. So I do. Turbo Time USA has some killer turbos, and I saw something. Which turbo makes the most whistle? I'll say this: my Turbo Time with the velocity port, I've never heard a turbo make that particular. It sounds amazing. Now, keep in mind, all these turbos are all using the exact same turbine wheel. So you're not going to see any difference from that. I haven't heard a KC turbo make the same under hood whistle that my turbo time does. I'll say that. I'm not saying turbo time is better. I'm just saying when you're asking that question, in my experience, turbo times with the velocity port tends to make more of a noise than KC Turbo. Again, both great companies from each. Mongoose, did you have Warren premiums too and just had issues with them, or what happened with that? Are you a believer in rod and main studs? If you can afford it, 100% getting the, I assume you mean ARP studs for them, or at least ARP hardware. Then yeah, I would. But all in all, I would say for most people it's overkill. If you were planning to make over 600 horsepower, I would say then go for it. But under 600 horsepower, I don't think it's necessarily worth it. O3 turbos make the most whistle. Yeah, Mongoose, yeah, that's definitely true. O3 turbos make more of a whistle than a Power Max turbo. It's actually it's the same turbine wheel. It's in the vane profile. O3 turbos have a different vane profile over the Power Max, although they're both larger vanes. The later years have an even different profile and they're smaller. Let me rephrase that. Shorter. They're shorter. Jasper heads, new oil cooler, new glow plugs, injector flow test, new fuel rail, gasket, ARP. So fuel rail, new fuel rails, comma gasket, or new fuel rail gaskets, because the fuel rails don't actually have a gasket. Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, something sounds fishy with that, because they're not going to put in new oil rails, new fuel rails. I don't even know what that is. Gaskets probably go with the studs, glow plug harness, high pressure oil rail, and yeah, it sounds like they might be doing something fishy there. And I wouldn't run Jasper heads. I know the O3s are loud because they had the 10 blade. That's why I went KC. Yeah, so most people, I will say this about turbo builders, guys. Most people, how did I have 33 likes and I'm down to 28? I swear YouTube screws with me on that sometimes. Anyway, all these guys are building from O3 cores. So the turbine wheels are literally identical. The unison ring, unless they're stating they change it out, which I would be kind of leery of if they actually do. The vanes are all going to be the same. The compressor wheel is different. The compressor cover, people machine things to different specs. KC Turbo obviously has like their signature with the drilled holes in them. Looks pretty cool, I think, personally. Doesn't have an anti-surge ring, which that whole process evens out the pressure. It works really well. You won't hear surging issues much on KCs, just like turbo time. I'm being demonetized. But yeah, so really in this turbo comparison, the only thing to really change, like compare left to right, is the compressor wheels and compressor covers, which are different. They are very different setups from one another. I did notice recently Titan Turbo Services started doing a very similar velocity port thing on their turbos, which I thought was funny because they've talked really poorly about Turbo Time USA. So I thought it was super entertaining that they then turned around and very recently released a turbo that mimics them, except they have visibly they talk about how they're only USA, only USA, only USA, but that's not true because you can see that they use Chinese covers, which I'm not knocking as long as their quality control is there, but don't talk so poorly about other people like they do sometimes, and then, you know, essentially do the same darn thing. But all in all, they have a really good reputation. I will say that. Look at that. They have quite a few things here that have some similarities. I'm now noticing. Mr. Innovative himself not being so innovative. I blame Josh. See, Nick, I think you're right. How did I lose more likes? I'm down more. Back of the engine, can't tell where it's coming from. It's leaking down both sides, so antifreeze on the back of the engine. So honestly, I would check right off your EGR cooler. If you have your EGR cooler, well, it's actually off your oil cooler. If you have your EGR cooler, there's a J tube that hooks to that, and where it connects to the oil cooler, that there's like it's like a quick connect hose. You turn it and it'll push back. A lot of times that's leaking. Oh, it's deleted. Then I would check the J tube because they're the next part that leaks. A lot of times they don't have a beaded edge on the J tube that runs. There's just a cheap silicone hose that goes to the found one for a dead. That goes off the oil cooler to this J tube and coolant flows through there. Most likely that is your leak right where it comes off the oil cooler. So it's down in the valley would be where I would be checking. And if I had to bet money, that's where your leak is. I was going to ask, what do you guys think about Titan turbos? And now on the scene and seem to be talking smack about other turbo. All right, so here's my deal with Titan. A lot of people really like his stuff. I've heard good stuff about them. Here's my big issue with them. Guy's kind of a dick. People like his product that run it. He talks bad about everybody else, but then does the said thing that he talks bad about. Like literally, I talked to him once because I used to get a lot of questions about his stuff. So I reached out to him to just like politely be like, hey, can I just find out about you a little bit? A lot of people asking about you, just trying to provide good information. And he really kind of acted like I was a giant pain in his butt, despite the fact like I was just trying to learn about his stuff so I could talk about it to people that wanted to know. So that kind of irritates me. Let's see if I'm trying to find the picture to see if he actually has it posted. He has one that essentially has a velocity port in it. Oh, here it is. Yep. And by essentially, I mean, it's the same, like it's a velocity port. And don't get me wrong, while his Chinese covers, it's so he could put his name on it, just like Turbo Time USA does. It's just Turbo Time USA doesn't act like a goofball about it. Okay, here's Titan. Looks a lot like a velocity port, right? I mean, for a guy that's talked really bad about Turbo Time USA, he doesn't seem to have a problem using similar size compressor wheels and setups as they do. So, yeah, I don't know. I talking strictly about the product though. A lot of people like his product. Like I'm not gonna knock him in that regard. People that I know have definitely liked him in that regard. But seriously, can't stand him in regard to that. I used to include him when I would talk on forums. Those of you guys that see me on forums talk about turbos, like I talk who I help represent. And then I also bring up KC Turbo. I used to bring up Titan Turbo too, but like I said, how he conducts himself publicly, I just kind of, I have a hard time supporting that. So I don't anymore. No, Mike, that wasn't that guy. That was Turbo Labs America. That guy's the worst. That guy is absolutely the worst. I can't stand him. We had issues with that. I was trying to review his product. Major issues. He didn't machine the cover correctly. He didn't machine the relief for the cover. He was copying from KC Turbo on there correctly. That reminds me, it's still at Greg's. When I get my 6.0 back, I'll get that piece of crap back and poke fun at that gentleman again, because he definitely deserves to be kind of made fun of for that crap. But no, that was Turbo Labs America. Don't buy from them. They're awful too. Titan Turbo Service product. I haven't heard anything bad about them. A lot of people are happy. But again, the guy's kind of a jerk. He's been rude to me before. He's talked bad about Turbo Time USA without even knowing the company. He goes after KC Turbo all the time. The way he acts professionally on forums and stuff, he just, I don't know. I don't like him. End tangent. Moving on to the next thing. What about a fuel pin change for more horse ponies? That doesn't make sense. I hope you're kidding. Seriously, are you? That guy's being weird and annoying. Do you work on other people's trucks? If so, what's there? No, so I don't typically work on other people's trucks. I'm not a mechanic at all. I'm a nurse. I started doing this. Josh and I started this channel together, and some of it's just stuff I wanted to do. Some projects I've kind of gone down a different road based off of me doing this channel. But I don't really work on other people's vehicles. I've helped people out here and there from time to time, but it's pretty hard for me to be able to do that. Like I said, and again, I'm not a mechanic. I couldn't warranty work or anything like that. God forbid. So I couldn't do work on somebody, especially somebody so far away, in good conscience, knowing I wouldn't be able to back it up. Like, there's a local guy here I'm buddies with, that I worked on his truck, but again, it was just kind of a weird Ethan, solid move, brother. So yeah, no, I don't really do that. I give a lot of advice. I try to spend a lot of time helping diagnose stuff, but yeah, like I said, I'm a nurse, not a mechanic. I do this as fun, so I couldn't be able to back anything up. You have a lot of knowledge. Well, thank you. I think that's a pretty high compliment. I mean, I really know 6.0s, and I know a good bit about 6.7s now too. 7.3s are pretty simplistic monsters in and of themselves, so it's not hard. But yeah, I'm no mechanic. I do enjoy it. It is fun to work on stuff. But I really, if you start getting into other stuff, I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable. But a lot of the stuff is really, it's just nuts and bolts. I can look at a lot of stuff and figure out how it's supposed to go together or come apart, but there's still more specific stuff about all these things that I don't really understand or know, and that's when I got to look stuff up. So I'm great at research, I'll say that. The nurse that wrenches better than diesel mechanics. Talk about humble. Mike, I don't know that I wrench better than that many people, but I think I'm half decent at my little hobby. But thank you for thinking so highly of me. I appreciate it. Mongoose, I've seen people install the iPad as a radio. My question would be, my God, Doom, they already brought the intercooler up. You're late. That's why you didn't know about it. I hate that intercooler. Although when my 6.0 is back, I want you all to flood Sinister Diesel with messages for them to send me that intercooler to test. But those iPad radio, my question is, I don't understand, and maybe it's because I haven't gone and looked at it. Like for my aftermarket amps and stuff like that, how I would get signal from there to that. Maybe it's easier than I think, but that would be kind of one of my concerns, is how to make it work with all the aftermarket sound system stuff. Don't dog someone else's turbos just because you're trying to promote your own, not cool. Doom, I agree 100%, man. I struggle with how he conducts himself, and he's kind of like, he just says stuff that doesn't make sense. And that's kind of like, again, I don't want to turn this into like, I hate Titan Turbo. Again, I've heard great feedback about people running his stuff. That's why I try to be as honest and unbiased, but yeah, the way he treats other people, or like, he has his stock injectors and he's like, well, because of my turbo wheel design, it'll make more power than anybody else's out there. You only have so much fuel. Making 500 horsepower on stock fuel is incredibly hard. Only a handful of people have done it and backed that figure up. But I don't know how many people have backed up the figure after a dyno. But anyway, yeah, I just like, he wants to like argue about everything, and some of the stuff he argues doesn't make sense. Let's see here. That's funny. I'm an archaeologist. I also was from. Oh, that's cool, man. Dude, we had a conversation earlier about how it's always the mods who bring up the eyes. No, it really is. It's always my moderators that are supposed to be supporting me that bring up this intercooler. Jeff, thanks for tuning in, man. Hope you had fun. Hope you join us next time. Secretly, Josh has been doing all the wrenching on Jared's 6.0. He does not. He does not. Memorial Day special, you get 12% off right now. What are we getting? Oh, the Sinister No. It's still more money than I want to spend. I wouldn't have. You have a good night. Thanks for the prize. Anytime, man. If you need anything, reach out to us. Happy to help. Check us out on Instagram. Probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Although I have like 2 guys I need to message back on Instagram. I just haven't had time to do so. Been bad about that. But I will get to them soon. Maybe tonight. Anyway, we should probably start looking at ending the live stream. How about we go to 2 hours and 20 minutes, then we'll end this. So about another 7 minutes, guys. Like I said, for those of you guys that weren't in here, we'll give another shout out to our sponsors, Turbo Time USA. Everybody, guys, for everything I'm about to say, 6.0 Bros. We'll get you a discount on all these. So Turbo Time USA, link down in the description. That code 6.0 Bros will get you 5% off their custom turbos. Blessed Performance, that code gets you 10% off of tuning. Check them out for that. And that same code at our Teespring merch store will get you free shipping on your order. So go check us out as well if you want some 6.0 Bro merch. There's this. We have the SOB shirts. There's a 10K Club shirt. I want to get another one 10K and counting. Or I want to make another one 10K and counting. Turbo logo shirt was the original guy we ever made. Sounds good, man. Stay in touch. Let me know if I can help at all. Like I said, Instagram probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. And yeah, guys, great point, Josh. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. But take a moment and just remember why we celebrate Memorial Day, to remember those that made the ultimate sacrifice. So we get to sit here and do goofy stuff like this on a Sunday night. And yeah. So just tomorrow, guys, take a moment and, remember that. That's a big one for me. I always try to post something about these holidays and why we actually celebrate those holidays. So it's an important one to me, especially with a lot of my family has served. Fortunately, I'm not aware of any recent relatives that had to make that sacrifice, but a lot of my family has served. I get this Titan Turbo crap off of my computer. Yeah, Doom, when the 6.0's back, Blessed Performance tunes are the first one on my list to try. Probably followed by Warren at that. I guess Gearhead's not doing it anymore. I always wanted to review their stuff, but I hear they're not tuning these days. Yeah, I definitely want to try and get more 6.0 tunes out there for people. I also want to mess around with Fickum tuning on the truck when it's back. So I have a lot in regards to that. I'd like to get some parts powder coated before it goes back together. I got to look into prices for that because I want to get the high pressure oil pump cover powder coated. I want to get my oil cooler housing. I want to get those pieces all powder coated. Maybe my intake manifold and my intercooler pipes I'd like to get done too. And I think that's everything. But we have to see, before I can do the fancy stuff like that, we have to see how some other things go before I even consider any nonsense like that. But I think I want to go with, like, if I do it, I want to go with like gloss black and that candy apple red with the fleck metallic pieces in. I think would look killer on the truck. I'm gonna let that show. Oh, so he still is doing it. It's just you have to actually contact him directly now. Yeah, crazy times with all this. Put Blessed Performance Eco Beast on my buddy's truck, and now he is nervous about even trying the performance tune. The Eco Beast was really fun on the truck I ran it on. Because of EPA stuff, I can't say the truck I ran it on, but I think some of you might remember the video I made. The Eco Beast was an awesome tune. Tow tune was nice. The performance tune was killer. Really loved the performance tune. But Eco Beast was my overall favorite to run. It made great power. I got killer fuel economy, and it was very easy to drive normally, if that makes sense. But guys, I hope everyone enjoyed the live stream. I do plan to have a, he says 8,000-pound truck should not be that quick. They really shouldn't be. I know that sentiment exactly. And sometimes I'm like, this is too fast. And then I remember, is there such a thing as too fast? I don't think so. That's good fuel economy, man. That's really good fuel economy. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought entirely. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's right. The next video will be out this week sometime. Like I said, I have some school stuff I need to go through and send out. And we'll go from there. But anyway, guys, thank you for coming in, hanging out. It's been a blast. Video coming this week probably, and then I'll be recording hopefully the next one about the 6.0, which should drop next weekend. So hopefully in the next 7 days, 2 videos come out. That's my goal. We'll see how productive I am. But anyway, guys, thank you again. What injectors do you recommend? I'm going to quick speed answer this. Warren Diesel or Holder Diesel premium injectors are the 2 companies I recommend. If you have a pretty relatively stock setup, but you want a mild upgrade, 175 stock nozzled injectors are my first recommendation. If you're looking for more than that, I'd go 205/30 injectors. That'll put you at about 600 horsepower. Keep in mind you need to worry about to replace a stock fuel. I would. It sounds like 175 stock nozzles would be your best bet, brother. That would be it. That'll give you the capability to be over 500 horsepower if you want it. But it'll also run on stock fuel and run well with the stock turbo. And I wouldn't run more than a tow tune. I see that you're, oh wait, no, you're studded. So you're studded, you're good. And you're good to run what you need to. But anyway, dude, if you have more questions, hit me up on Instagram is the easiest place. If you go to the channel page, there's a link in the banner to Instagram, and happy to talk to you more if you have any more questions. Anyway, guys, good night. Have a good one, and happy Memorial Day.